welcome to number 1 Operations Wing on this cold January night. You join us as we follow 104 Squadron on a transport logistics flight using their Pilatus PC-12 NG aircraft. To tell us more about this mission, let's have a talk to tonight's aircraft commander and Officer Commanding 104 Squadron, Commandant Michael Barco. Good evening, Michael.
Or good evening.
Good night at this stage. So, thank you for bringing us along for tonight's mission. Can you explain more what we're going to be doing tonight?
Yeah, absolutely, Stephen. So we received a tasking from the Joint Task Force to support the HSE in the transportation of COVID test samples over to a lab in Munich. So the thing about these flights is the lab, obviously, as you can imagine, is busy. They're receiving samples from all over Europe, so we have a certain time slot. So we're going to be taking off out of here at Baldon just shortly after 2 AM, with a slot to land in Munich at 5 AM.
Okay. We're joining 104 Squadron tonight. I was in 104 Squadron many years ago, so 104 Squadron has changed ever so slightly from what I remember. So can you briefly introduce us to what the main difference is?
Well, with the arrival of the PC-12 aircraft last year, we saw 280 arrive in April and the 3 grey aircraft arrive in September. From a flying perspective, it's become a totally different type of squadron. So we're reporting into work here now at 1 o'clock in the morning to take off at 2 AM. That typically would never have taken place previously on the Cessna aircraft. So we're looking at, a much greater capability for the Defence Forces. It's a 24/7 capability where the aircraft can fly in all types of weather. So an example is when we're landing over in Munich this evening or this morning now, we're expecting snow. So that's not something that we typically operate in beforehand.
Okay, so possibly challenging conditions tonight. Okay, well, thank you for that. I'll let you get prepared and we will speak to you in flight.
Great, thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, Mike. In September 2020, 104 Squadron took delivery of their Pilatus PC-12NG Spectre aircraft, replacing the ageing Reims rocket FR-172H aircraft fleet. These aircraft entered service with the Air Corps in 1972, and over 47 years of service completed varied roles such as border surveillance, target towing and cash escort, amassing a total of 64,000 hours. Tonight's logistics flight sees the transport of COVID-19 test samples to Munich, Germany for laboratory testing. Using our various fixed-wing aircraft, the Irish Air Corps' number 1 Operations Wing have regularly been tasked with these transport flights since the summer of 2020. Okay, so we departed Baldonnel at approximately 2 AM and it's now just over an hour into the flight, so slightly after 3 AM in the morning. So let's check in with the flight crew and see how things are progressing.
Hi Stephen, so we're currently cruising at 29,000 feet and we're just passing by Heathrow Airport at the moment, so we should roughly have around an hour and a half left before we're on the ground in Munich.
Okay, very good, Michael. So, now that we're in a relatively low workload phase of flight, maybe now is a good time for you to introduce us to the PC-12.
Great. So I suppose one of the most obvious things that you can see straight away is that there's 2 pilots in the cockpit, and the other pilot is now currently flying the aircraft, and that allows me to turn around and speak with you. The second thing is, as you see, it's quite a modern and advanced cockpit, and it's also equipped with synthetic vision, so that gives us great situational awareness, especially when we're travelling at 500 kilometers an hour over the ground.
Okay, very impressive capability. So, can you tell us what the conditions are like and what we can expect now for the next hour and a half of the flight?
Yeah, so we just checked in on the weather there. The current conditions in Munich, there is snow on the ground. There are persistent snow showers in the vicinity, so we will definitely need to de-ice once we land. So what we're going to do now as a crew is we're going to discuss how we're going to navigate to the runway that we've been designated to land on.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for that, Michael. We'll let you carry on with your checks and we speak to you on the ground in Munich.
Great, Stephen. Thank you. So just landed in Munich. We've offloaded the boxes, so we're just turning the aircraft around now. So I'm doing a turnaround inspection. The other pilot is refueling. Once we have that complete, then as you can see, the conditions are a little bit different than back home. There's quite a lot of snow falling, so we'll need to de-ice the aircraft and then protect it with an anti-icing fluid then before we take off into the snow again.
So mission complete?
Yeah, back at home base safe and sound. The mission was successful, and back home to bed now for a few hours sleep.
Very good, well deserved.
Thank you.
So it's a busy time for the wing. I know they did this mission last night and the night before using the CASA, and I believe the upcoming week is pretty busy.
That's right, this is our third consecutive night in a row. The CASA previously completed it. We're on again next weekend. We also have operations on the board now in the next week or two for Western Sahara, Helsinki and more Munich flights as well.
Really, that's a significant step up in capability from the 104 squadron as I remember. Well, Michael, thank you very much for inviting us along tonight. It was really good to see behind the scenes.
Well, it was great to have you on board, and we'll catch you again soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.